Hey, I'm Bradley Denniston, and today I'm super hyped because I get to introduce you to the Fenix HR Ville 1996, brand new amp to the STL AmpHub family, and a nice update. There's a couple things here that are not available in the original, and this is based on the original Fender Hot Rod DeVille, the 4x10 combo, 1996. I'm going to break this down on a record I'm working on. I'm going to show you some of these settings, some presets. I'm going to show you some tones. Let's dive right in. When you first open up the Fenix HR Ville 96 amp, you're going to see the overview of the amp and the settings. Pretty familiar. There's just one knob that's a little different here. Let's listen to it in action. I'm going to play a song that I'm working on, my next release. It's called Fallout, and I'm just going to play the chorus here. And then we're going to focus in on the chugging guitars, the rhythm guitars here. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the amp.
Is this how it ends when the world falls out? Will we feel it all the same? Will we feel it all the same? Or will we keep on dancing? When the world falls out, will we feel it all the same? Will we feel it all the same? Or will we keep on dancing?
All right, that's the chorus. Let's focus in on these guitars and hear this amp in action. These are the rhythm guitars, second half of the chorus, to kind of bring rhythm back into it and give another texture to everything. And I really love doing that with guitars, not necessarily always featuring them in a track. I kind of started with the 90s Fenix overdrive preset. Now, the best way to get to these presets, for me personally, is to go by amplifier model. And you could just go up to the Fenix HR Ville 1996, and you're going to see these three presets just to get you going. I think there'll probably be a lot more presets by the time this is released. And maybe I'll even add some of my own. If you do like and you do want presets from me, let me know in the comments. The 1996 fuzzy grunge ballad, and then you got an overdrive 90s. That's what I picked. And then I kind of tweaked from there. I've taken the drive up just a touch, and you do have an overdrive kind of thing here. And then you also have a normal and bright switch. So you could just normal tone, or you can open it up and make it a lot brighter. And then you got the inputs. You can go 1 or 2. And that's really fun as well. You're going to get different vibes with the different input. And then you're going to see the obvious contenders, the treble, bass, middle, and then you have the master volume output. And then this guy here, which is only available on this amp, it's the headroom knob. So if I turn this all the way up, I'm giving myself a ton of headroom, because the original Fender Hot Rod DeVille actually distorted really quickly. So this is just giving you an option to keep the tone cleaner for longer or for more headroom. If we want to distort quicker, you could turn this down to 1, and that'll be more like the original setting of the Fender. So I'm going to keep that open just so you can hear this. Let's A/B that setting real quick, because that is a feature that's very unique to this amp. Here's the headroom all the way up. And let's take it all the way down. You're going to hear an obvious volume change. That's because the headroom is allowing more voltage to go through the amp. So it's not choking down on it. It's not distorting it as fast. When you take it all the way down, you're going to get distortion quicker, which will actually roll out some of the bottom and the top, and it keeps it kind of tight. So it's a tight sound, but I'd make up that with more drive or maybe with higher gain, etc. So you can pop in the high gain knob and you could drive it maybe 7, 8. And then you get more of that kind of like distorted tight sound like this. And that's just beautiful, because then you get those harmonics, that saturation where you're distorting the harmonics and getting those odd and even harmonics, which sound really colorful and beautiful. So now the important part of being a record producer is to get the guitars to cut in the mix, not overwhelm the mix. You know, we don't just want chugging guitars throughout the whole song, but we do want to hear them. What I kind of want to do is roll the bass down pretty hard, push the mids just a touch, and keep everything else. Maybe we give ourselves a little more headroom. Let's go like 3.5 or so. I'm just going to copy that setting over from this amp. All right, so Option, drag it over. I'm going to replace it because I got a left and a right rhythm. And let's hear this together. And then we'll talk about the cabinet and what's different and the new microphones and stuff, because that can help a lot with the tonality as well.
When the world falls out, will we feel it all the same?
a lot of low end starts to build up. And that's where we want to go to the cabinet and mess with the microphones, because that's really your first source of EQ. You don't want to just go grab an EQ and start, trimming stuff out. So I'm going to go to the cabinet here, and we have some new microphones here. This is a 4x10, 414, 87, EM, 421, 2, and an N. 57 straight on the cone is going to be the most mid-range cut probably that you'll get out of any of these mics. But if you want a little brighter, you might want to try like an 87. Let's see what this does. And then you have a ribbon 121 on this side. Classic combo would be a 57 with the Royer 121 ribbon. You also have a 4038. Let's try that. There's also a mix mode here, so you can mix between the different mics. And then the mic distance, angle, room, high pass, low pass. So this could be another thing that you can mess around with, is the low pass if you're getting too much low buildup. All right, but let's hear it with these mics. And just flipping through the mic so you can hear the different tonalities that just the microphone is giving. Now we're blending more on this side of the microphone, so I'm going to flip through these mics and you'll hear a much more apparent difference. I might want to take the treble up just a touch, just so it cuts a little bit more. We don't need a whole lot of bass. The mid-range is probably also giving us bass, like in the 500 area and stuff. I'm going to option drag that over and copy it. So now we have the same settings on each amp on the left and right. And let's check it out in the mix. Now that's sounding really good. It's sitting in the mix really nicely. And that's something I look for a lot in amplifiers, in any amp sim, any amp modeling, whatever it is. I want that to sit nice in the track. That's the point. I'm really loving this. Let's hear it on a synth, just because I want to experiment with this. I want to go up to this synth part that I recorded with the Osmos synth here. I think it could be a lot more interesting. I also recorded a Prophet in here and some other analog synths. But this guy is just kind of boring, so I threw the amp on this guy. And I'm going to show you how I kind of freaked it with this. Let's hear it without the amp. I'm just going to bypass it, and then I'm going to play this lead lick. Kind of boring, right? But it's akin to DIing an electric guitar, and the Osmos has a lot of features where you can bend the notes and you can make it really expressive. So I want this to sound more like a guitar. That was the whole point of doing this. So let's turn this on and I'll show you what I did here. Now you notice right away when I turn that headroom down, it's all of a sudden this really tight sound instead of this open sound, right? So that is exactly what that headroom knob does. It's almost like EQing and compressing itself, because you're hitting the amp harder, it's saturating. Whether it's tubes or it's IC chips, whatever it is that's distorting, it's actually compressing. Also, what I did is I went to the stomp box, and this is on by default on this preset, Ignite Amps Tyrant. Let's turn this on. And this is really cool. It's just a boost pedal, and this will give us a lot more vibe and more gain. So that actually starts to sound like an electric guitar, right? Like someone sliding a little. I love it. I will stack that with the other synth licks. I got the 421 on this and the 441 here. You can make this a little bit more cutty by just moving the mic to the center of the cone. If you want it to be a little softer, move it off to the side of the cone a little bit. But let's just hear this. You can also bring up the mic distance and room to give it more dimension. And that's what I've done here. Really cool vibe because it is soft and subtle, or it can be distorted and you can drive it and push it. I like it open on this sound, but I do like it with the push, the gain. This headroom knob just gives it a completely different vibe altogether. So that's it for me, and that's it for the Fenix HR Ville 1996 new update from STL AmpHub. Go check it out. Go make your own tones. It's a lot of fun and definitely a great production tool. Have fun with it.